Hello, everybody. How y'all doing today? My name is Marcus Sanders. I'm here representing RCA. We are currently having a Tapped In magazine exhibit, and we also are highlighting system impacted artists. As well as myself, I'm an author. I got a book as well over here. But we are here to let the people know as far as what system impacted really means. The families are system impacted, the kids are system impacted, the community is system impacted. It's just not about the individual that went away. You know what I mean? And RCA is recognizing that and giving us a platform for us to be able to enlighten the community about what it is that system impacted really means. And this is what RCA is here about. And also letting people know that we're an asset, we're no longer a liability to the community. You know, so we are doing many things, but I wanted to be able to give you an opportunity to be able to see the vision of what RCA is about. Like the brother would tell you, we're here for the social, economic, and system impacted people that gives us the opportunity to elevate ourselves in a whole nother manner. You know what I mean? I'm a father, I'm a grandfather, I'm a property owner. You know what I mean? I did approximately 18 years. 20 years, I've been free 18 years, you know what I mean? So it's like life can change. It's all about the people you surround yourself with and also the vision you have for yourself. And it's a continuous journey. But RCA is here to let you know that we got the tools that you need. You know, we have so many programs that we can offer to the community that's going to allow them to be able to see where we're coming from and how we got to the places we are. But I also wanted to give you guys the opportunity to be able to see some of the art. We got system impacted art that's coming from different facilities, and the benefits are going back to the people that's incarcerated. And we doing a lot of different things, people. You know what I mean? We just want people to know the work is out there getting done. It ain't what it is, it's what it is. It's not what it look like. You know, and that's this continuous journey for us. It's like, why they making all these rules and these decisions about us, but there's nobody looking like us sitting at the table. Like we always say, nothing about us without us. How you making rules and regulations about what's good for me and none of one of us is sitting at the table. And that's what RCA is about. We're a new organization, but we continue to put the work in the best we can with the hand that we dealt with. You know, and that's the main thing about it. Our reach is vast. We in Texas, we all over Cali, we in the Bay, we in Frisco, we in Sacramento, we everywhere. So we just want to let people know, understand me, this is an opportunity for you to be able to jump on something that's going to help the people around you. And to be able to get the chance to donate and help RCA make this movement more than what it is, you know. So. But I want y'all to meet our newest member, Teddy. He's gonna come up and give you a synopsis of his story. And I want y'all to work with him, but it's powerful. All right, here y'all go, Teddy.
Okay, what's up, Sacramento? My name is Theodore Butler. And first and foremost, I want to just give thanks to our gracious host, Jennifer, you know, and the Sacramento Library. You know, she helped make this possible. And we really thank her because she's been very gracious this morning. And I am a very system impacted person. In 1998, I was convicted of attempted murder. I received a 9-year sentence that, due to the 3 strikes law, was enhanced. And they started doubling up sentences and giving enhancements and other, you know, enhancements. And it was like a cash register. I heard somebody in the courtroom saying, damn, you know. And I wound up with 29 years to do at 85%. And I looked at the judge and I said, Your Honor, I can't do that much time. And he said, just do what you can. I said, oh my God, okay. And at this point, you know, I further became system impacted because beautiful, selfless people, much like RCA, came within the institution offering programs from Hands of Peace called Alternatives to Violence Project, the Vogue Project, Kairos. And I took advantage of all these things. And, you know, transformation comes from renewing of your mind. And I, you know, renewed my mind. So 23 years later, September 21st, 2021, I was released. And I had made up my mind. If I do the right thing long enough, the right thing will be successful. And I just wanted to make it. And right now I stand as a person, you know, I'll be going on my 4th year, and I've been able to obtain a good job where I got beautiful benefits, a 401k, I go in, I open the door, I hit the alarm, I do what has to be done, and I'm counted on and I'm respected. But it didn't start out like that. When I paroled, because Sacramento was my county of last legal residence, I had to come back here, but I had no family here. So when you parole, they only give you $200 gate money, and they utilized my gate money to give me an Amtrak ticket to Sacramento, where I had no place to live, no place to stay, nothing. So I did have a relative in the Bay Area, so I got the Amtrak back to Emeryville. I stayed that weekend, and I had to report for parole on that following Monday. That following Monday, I explained to the parole office and the officer of the day, I have no ID, I have no money, I have no birth certificate, and I have nowhere to live. And due to being released early because of COVID, there was no transitional housing for me. And this parole officer, I asked him, can you give me a voucher for a motel until I can get housing or transitional housing? He says, no, we don't have resources for that. So he drove me around. He drove me around to 3 different shelters. And each shelter said, no, we can't house him or just let him in like that. There's processes you have to go through. And so he's riding around and he says, well, I'm just going to leave you at the parole office and just hang out till in the morning. And I realized, he was saying, just stay outside, just be on the streets till in the morning. We try and figure it out. I looked at him, and I said, please don't do me like that. Please don't do me like that. We tried one more place and I was fortunate and they allowed me there, right? And so that's why RCA is so important to me, because it meets people where the rubber meets the road. You don't have food, you don't have clothes, you don't have a place to live, you don't have a networking system to help you guide you back into being a acclimated citizen in society. And, that was good. So I'm going to go off some notes that I wrote. And I first want to say, Ricky Gaines, I want to give it up for him, right? He's the founder of this organization. And when I met him, I was fortunate to meet him. But before I committed myself to say, hey, I'm RCA, I'm in on this, man, I asked him straight up, it's not what a person does, it's why they do it. So I asked him, I said, what motivates you, Ricky? Why do you create this program to do what it does? And he says, it's going to sound corny, but love, love is my motive to help people. And when I heard that, I said, I'm all in like a poker bet. You know what I'm saying? And it's been a beautiful thing. And what really I like is the Tapped In magazine, because it goes within the institutions to whereas people can see and say, ooh, that's hustle, man. That's wow, they're out there doing it. And it gives them an example that it can be done. And so that magazine, and it gives them resources and knowledge where to obtain those resources. So when they want to make it, they can get out and make it. And so that's why I'm in. And so when he said that, I thought of a passage, right? And I want to share it. And I'm going to be closing. And I'm going to just share this, how it comes. When the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him, then he will sit on his glorious throne. Before him will be gathered all nations, and he will separate people one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goat. And he will place the sheep on his right, but the goats on his left. Then the king will say to those on his right, come, you who are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Then the righteous will answer him, saying, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you drink? And when did we see you a stranger and welcome you, or naked and clothe you? And when did we see you sick or in prison and visit you? And the king will answer them, truly I say to you, as you did it to one of the least of these my brothers, you did it unto me. That's RCA, to meet people, where the need is, to come home and to have a chance to never go back. My name's Theodore Butler, and I'm the newest member of RCA. All in.
Reverend Teddy just left the stage. As you can see, RCA we vast as far as on all our struggles are different. They're similar, but they're different, and it gives you the understanding that just because you get out don't mean understand me it's gonna be easy for you. A lot of people sit up in them boxes because a lot of our brothers have been lifetime sentences, so they had to put the work in to be free. But then you got brothers that's doing 7, 8, 10 years, 5 years, 3 years. They're not getting themselves together to be free. You know what I mean? I was a prime example of that. I did 10 years straight. For sure, I fumbled the ball 3 times within a year because I didn't prepare myself to be free. You know what I mean? My family allowed me to see the pain I caused them, for me to get into my own self and say, okay, I need to have a conversation with myself. And this is where the change took place. You can have all the tools you need, but if you don't have that conversation with yourself, it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? That's why I commend all the brothers that didn't had to go to the long route to be able to get home. You know, that's a struggle you got to do it because somebody else say you need to do it in order for you to be free. You know, and it gives it gives you the foundation for you to be consistent with whatever you do when you do get home. You know, and that's the thing about RCA. It's a lot of us. So we got a lot of different views on exactly what we need to be free. You know, and that's the key. It's like, okay, we could be out there just making, life gonna stay throwing curves. It's what you do with it. But do you have anybody to talk to you about what it is that you're going through? Because there's somebody that is. You know, and us being men that we've been sitting there walking the yard and everything, we don't need nobody to talk to. We always need somebody to talk to. We just want to talk to them to talk to us in language that we understand. And that's the thing about RCA. We took our mental health serious. You know what I mean? It's the only way we can do the work. You know, it's like we said, we in here, it's just us. But our message we steady having a conversation with each other. That's what it's all about. Being able to continue to have that conversation, which inspire each one of us to be able to do the right thing and to be able to get the kids to do the right thing. But it's hard for us too. That's why every Sunday we had that conversation like, woo, this week was rough. You know, because we know what's going on at work. We know what's going on with the husband or the wife or the kids or grandkids or something like that. These type of things take a toll on your life. You know what I mean? RCA recognizes that. Not just about all the glitter and glamour, the work. You know what I mean? But I just wanted to say, appreciate everybody coming out, understanding the concept about RCA and Tapped In magazine, that you can just get a subscription. You can just donate. You can go online. You know, it's quite a few ways that you can help the movement. And, you know, we continue to give you the raw of what we got to give you. And we go surround ourselves with good people, like-minded people. Ain't nobody perfect. But at the same time, we push it. You can see that. We push it. But I'm going to bring up one of our young brothers. This is Anthony Partee. He's a financial literacy. He also a member of RCA. He barking out ink. He's, you know, a man of many talents and many hats. You know what I mean? We're glad to have him on our team. And he's one of the youngest. And I stay learning from this young cat. You never stop learning. That's just no big eyes and little U's. Y'all welcome Anthony Partee.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely welcome you all to the Sacramento Public Library. And I first want to give an special thanks to Miss Jen. You know, Jennifer, but I call her Jen. You know, over the last few weeks, we've been putting this together. I've definitely grown an affinity for Miss Jen. I appreciate her and her hard work and her willingness to not only accommodate us, but to go the extra mile to make sure that everything is set up properly. I truly appreciate you for that, Miss Jen. And give her a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. And a special thanks to the Sacramento Public Library also for allowing us this space. It's very important for us to have a space where we can congregate and collaborate. Because yes, we could be out there on the street corners and on our soapbox, but this gives us a safe environment in which we can not only administer our lessons, but to feel as family with one another. Because once you come into this RCA fold, you know, we pretty much become a family. And it doesn't matter your race, your creed, like we all are family, and we move in conjunction with that. RCA is a beautiful, beautiful organization. I had faced a very, very hard trial that I, at the time, didn't believe that I could ever make it through. And one thing that I saw was the willingness of every single member of RCA, whether it was words of encouragement, whether it was wisdom and information, where to get resources, or whether it was their finances. They actually came out their pocket, you know, took their time out to call me personally on their own busy schedules to make sure that I was all right and that my wife was all right and that we could make it through our situation. So, you know, I just want to give a special thanks, you know, to the RCA family for accepting us the way that you have and also guiding and helping us in that manner. I have to give a special thanks to the founder of RCA, Mr. Richard Gaines, and his wife, Andrea Gaines. They are a beautiful couple and a beautiful group of people. Ricky, he has a very hard work ethic. I mean, that dude, I don't think he ever sleeps. You know, you probably can reach him all types of times of the night. If you probably call him at 2 o'clock in the morning, he go get up to answer the phone to accommodate whatever it is that you got going on with his wisdom. You know, and he might do that with one eye closed and one eye open, but he's still gonna be there for you. And so that's very important. We appreciate Ricky. Ricky is a leader amongst leaders. Now that's important because I'm not an individual that just follows anyone, and I'm not one to toot my own horn, but I am somewhat accomplished. And so to have someone that I can look to is very important for me. And I want to say to anyone, it doesn't matter how, you know, old you get as far as age. It's always important for you to have a mentor and to have somebody that you can look to that has done some of the things that you want to do. That is very, very important because they act as a guide, and we all need that. That's exactly what we are as parents, right? We are the guardrails. Like when you're driving down the highway, the reason the guardrails are there is just to keep you inside of the lanes, right? So that you can get to your destination, you know. And so RCA as an organization, it acts like that for many people. And so it's very important. So thank you. A special shout out to Mr. Richard Gaines and his wife, Andrea. So who am I? Who is this guy in the nice shiny suit up here talking to you? My name is Anthony Martellus Partee. I am from Vallejo, California. I am a returning citizen. I am the RCA project director for the Building Resilience Summit Series. And the Building Resilience Summit Series is a series where people come in and we are given the opportunity to tell our stories and change lives through the experiences that we have, right? Because a lot of times that's how we learn, through stories. And so it's important for us to get that. Like I said, I'm a returning citizen. I am someone who just did 11 years in federal prison. You know, and it's funny because a young lady had walked in earlier, and then she walked out, and I happened to step outside and I saw her out there. So I approached her to get a quick word with her, and I invited her back in. And she said, well, oh, I'm not dressed for the occasion. And I laughed, but not at her. And I told her, I'm not laughing at you. I laugh because I look at myself, and it's amazing that people think that I'm some important person. Right? That's funny to me because literally 19 months ago, I was standing in the chow hall line behind a bunch of people with the same clothing on, trying to get fed, or sleeping on one of these little cots, right? Laying with this little thin blanket, right? Walking around the yard, having conversations. And so I said to her, it's amazing that you even see me in that light. Because let me tell you something. And I went to tell her that, hey, I just got out of federal prison. I'm no different. I'm no better than you. These clothes, they mean nothing. Okay, this is just some stuff we put on. It's the same things that you have on. It means nothing. I said, in fact, right, this is something that you don't know. Almost every person in that room you just walked in has been incarcerated. Almost every single person. And she said, oh my God, I know. And she said, oh my God, you don't look like you've been in jail. And it's like, yeah, in fact, not only have I been in jail, I just got out. I haven't even been out 2 years. So don't look at me and don't look at us because you see us all in our professional mode and think that this is something that is not. You belong here, regardless of how you were dressed, right? Because we take you as you are. In fact, we know that it is actually what's inside of you, right, that has value to not only you, but to the rest of the world. See, we're not worried because anybody can put on this shiny suit, right? But what is your character like? Do you have integrity? Are you accountable? Do you have the ability to be there for people in their times of need? Are you responsible? Those are the things that actually matter. It doesn't matter what you have on or even what you look like, because that is cosmetic, and all cosmetics will change. As we get older, we start to change. I'm starting to ache in places that I never ached before. And I was an athlete at one point in time. So I never thought I'd see the day that I just couldn't bounce out the bed and do what I wanted to do. No, it don't work like that. Not as soon. You know, it's like an old school box Chevy. You got to start warming that thing up a little bit before you start moving around, right? And so I just wanted to make the point that when you talk about Returning Citizens Association, I'm telling you that if you want to do something positive with your life and positive for other people, then you belong here with us. You belong here with us. Come on in, sister. You ain't got to stand out here. You belong here with us. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, yes. I don't mean to. Yes, that's right. Yeah, we ain't gonna put you on Front Street. You belong here with us. You see how the energy works. See, that's energy, right? And some people call it the spirit, but that's how it works. If you build it, they will come. All you have to do is continue to put out that positive energy, because she belongs here because she has positive energy. And so her energy drew her to us. And this is why she's here, and this is why we're here. And so with that being the case, right, not only, and I'm only giving you some of this background because I want you to understand who is standing in front of you, and then we'll explain to you exactly why this Tapped In magazine is important, why this Tapped In magazine exhibition is important. Okay, so I just did 11 years in federal prison, right? I've been out 19 months. I had 5 years of federal probation. I am off federal probation. I got off federal probation in 15 months. That's unheard of. You don't do that. They want to keep you with the tag of probation because as soon as you slip up, they can send you back. So for them to allow me to leave, for me really to be somebody who's been in and out of prison my whole life, to actually come out here and do what I'm supposed to do to stay out of trouble is very important. And a large portion of that thanks goes to this organization, RCA. They helped because they are individuals in those times and don't get it twisted. You see this suit, man, listen, man, I can be a fool and foolish at some points in time. And there were times, right, where I almost lost it. And had it not been for RCA, I don't believe I may have been able to keep myself on track because I was ready to crash out and be somewhere I didn't want to be. But all of the members of RCA, they made sure that they gave me their time. They talked to me and they talked me off that ledge, right? Because they had knowledge, they knew the ledge, And so not only did I get off probation in 15 months, right? I am the president of Barker L Incorporated, which is a publishing company. I also am the owner of a catering company called Heaven's Palette. Okay, this is all in what we're talking about in the span of 19 months. Not only that, I was voted in by the City Council of San Francisco to be a part of the Re-Entry Council of San Francisco. That means that thank you. That means that that means that I have some amount of influence over programs that are going to be instituted in the city of San Francisco, where people coming home may receive funds for housing, may receive funds for vehicles, may receive funds for living expenses, for giving job opportunities and different things of that nature, creating programs in passing laws like the ban the box and things of that nature, where for felons, they don't have the right to ask you, have you been to prison before? Because in all reality, I mean, what I did in my past is my past, right? And so if I'm not on that anymore, then you shouldn't be holding that against me going forward. You know, it's really a way to stagnate a person and keep them from the opportunity of actually being a productive and positive member of society. Okay. And so we have all of these wonderful things on top of the fact that I'm an author of 2 books. A book about my life written for young people at risk for criminality. This is an organization for people at risk for criminality. And so it goes hand in hand, you know. And so with that being the case, I want to talk about Tapped In Magazine and why it has a special place in my heart. You know, Tapped In Magazine is an informational piece that has the ability to change lives. A magazine. Well, how does words have the ability to change lives? Well, when we understand the breakdown of life, everything starts from a thought. Your thoughts, the way that you process them, is through words in your head so that you can go forth and move out on the things you need to move out on. And so what better than a magazine that has resources and information that can ultimately change your paradigm and offer you opportunity at the same time? This is what Tapped In Magazine is. When you look at Tapped In Magazine, to me, it is a beacon light. Well, what is a beacon light? If you are a ship trying to find harbor, right? And we say that harbor is something safe, right? A place safe for you to dock and be okay. And you're out in the ocean, which is the cares of the world. That beacon light will guide you to a safe place. And this is what RCA's Tapped In Magazine is. For those who have been at risk for criminality, it is something that in those moments when you are going to make the wrong choice that will alter your life forever, you can look to this and look to these stories in this magazine and ultimately change your direction. Imagine this. Imagine going into a room that is fully furnished and there are things everywhere, but the lights are off and you cannot see. How many of you believe that you will be able to navigate through that room unscathed without the ability to see? I see no hands raised. It will be very, very difficult, right? And that darkness, right? That darkness is symbolic. This whole situation is symbolic. That darkness is symbolic of what you would call ignorance, right? And to be ignorant is just to not know something. And so you are trying to navigate from one side of the room to the other side of the room. We would call that in life, you trying to navigate from poverty and depression and hardship to success. Success is only on the other side of the room. Yet, but in that darkness, you will stumble and fall into the snares and traps of life. Because if you can't see, it's very, very hard for you to be able to navigate, right? And so what is it that you will need in order for you to be able to navigate to the other side of the room? What you are going to need is light. Now, by a show of hands, if we turn the lights on in that room, no matter how much furniture was in that room, how many of you by a show of hands will be able to navigate through that room with the lights on? Right? All of us will be able to navigate through the room with the lights on. And so know and understand this, that for those of us who have been system impacted, Tapped In Magazine acts as that light. And remember, light is symbolic of knowledge. So once you have the knowledge to do something, it takes the fear out of it. And fear is just false evidence appearing real. When you would be fearful because you don't know what's going on. You can't see what's happening. And so you're just groping and stumbling through life. But once we have the lights on, we're all right. And so Tapped In Magazine acts as that light because it has resources and it has these stories. And these are some very, very powerful stories. I talked about a mentor earlier, right? Tapped In Magazine acts as a unilateral mentor, right? Where you don't have to, in a sense, even conversate back, but the stories of the people who have been to the places you've been to, who have done the things that you have done and overcome them, stories of resilience. This is why this magazine is so powerful and so important, because if I'm having troubles, I can go through this thing, read a story, and sometimes we have to be reminded to be grateful, right? We have to be reminded to be grateful because we forget the small things. We forget all of the things we struggled against. Some of the problems that we have, I have to be honest, for us, I have to say they're good problems. Like whether I can fix my backyard or not, or even whether I need to work a couple extra hours to make sure that I can pay this rent. Because I remember a time where I didn't have to pay rent. Yeah, but I paid with my time. They kept the lights on for me. They gave me 3 hots and a cot, and it was a place that I didn't want to be. I remember those times being around a bunch of people that I didn't want to be around, being told what to do, when to shower, when I could eat, given the type of food that I was given. And so sometimes we have to realize that even though there are problems in life be life, and man, we got good problems because we could have different problems. We could be calling home asking somebody for $50. We don't have to do that. And in fact, Tapped In Magazine and RCA, this organization, is a powerful thing because now we have people in this organization that can show you how to be successful. How to be successful. I didn't say this to you earlier, but I also have a 12-week financial literacy course that I teach. Within that 19-month time period, I became a millionaire from zero. From zero. So I want you to know and understand that all of these things are possible. Here you have in this organization homeowners. Homeowners. You got a bunch of people who ain't never been to prison, don't own a home. You got people that have been to prison and they own homes in this organization. We got some stuff that we can teach you and we got some stuff that we can show you. And so all we're saying is it's time for you to get off the couch, right? It's time for you to get in the game. Because in all reality, that doesn't mean you have to be up here giving speeches. You don't have to be standing around being security. But what you can do is purchase this magazine that will help other people. Purchase some of these books. These are individuals that have turned their lives around. Why wouldn't we want to support that? I want to give a special shout out. What's your name, brother? Andre. To Mr. Andre. I saw him at our last event, right? And he drove all the way out here to Sacramento, right, to be a part of this organization, to be a part of this exhibition. That's important. It's important because it is showing that he's refusing to go backwards to any other lifestyle that he was living. He said, listen, I'm going to do whatever I got to do. If that means drive to Sacramento so that I can sell these books that I have, then I'm going to do that. And this is what we're doing. This is the opportunity that RCA has given to me and has given to plenty of other people. I thank you all for continuing to come out. I'll leave you with this. Life may be difficult, but I just want you to remember this and know that you're doing the right thing. If you are striving to be better, if you are striving to be better today than you were yesterday, then you're doing the right thing. Because we have to strive, right, to be better tomorrow than we were today. And you're successful, and all is well. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate you all.
Appreciate y'all taking the time out to be able to listen to one of our own RCA members, Anthony Partee. He always gonna give you a proper dose, as we would say. You know what I mean? And one thing he said about people, every day is gonna be some type of struggle. And if you try to put one foot in front of the other the next day, then therefore you're gonna gain some progress. But it's also them times that next day you don't feel like taking a step at all. And that's what RCA is about, for we to have those conversations with each other. because the mental health is serious. You know what I mean? It's times where the depression sit in and you may not move for 2-3 weeks. It might be a month. It might take you 2 months to get out that joint. But you got somebody to talk to that's going to allow you to be able to have that conversation. You know, and we do have those conversations when nobody's looking. It's just like when somebody have a funeral, somebody passed, and everybody's sending flowers and everybody's sending cards and all that, and next week you don't hear from nobody. You know what I mean? That's not RCA. We're here for the long haul. You know what I mean? That's the thing about this journey of the mental health and being with this steps and this progress that we into. Every day is a chance for you to slip and fall and all the things you work for. You know what I mean? And you know, most of us coming about them boxes, we got attitude. You know what I mean? The wife might have attitude too. So we both got to be balancing each other out. And that's the thing about RCA, which gives us the tools that we need to continue to be successful. Your success may look different than mine. Mine is being thankful for waking up in the morning. Because I know somebody didn't wake up this morning. You know what I mean? And my wife always telling, she's like, you complain about something, but I'm like, we always say, be thankful for what you got, not what you don't have. You know, I was just outside just a minute ago, was a young brother walking by, and his head was down, and I was like, hey man, pick your head up. He said, man, it's rough out here. I said, yeah. I said, but you getting a chance to walk and see what it looked like. I guess somebody didn't wake up this morning. So work with what you got and not what you don't. You know what I mean? In order to get what you want to have, you got to be around those like-minded people that's going to give you the tools you need. And that's where RCA comes in. We're doing mentorship from the prison before you even get out of prison. Because most people coming from prison think they know what's going on out here. You've been gone for 20 years. You've been gone it changes overnight. How you going to know about, I was one of them cats in the box popping my whip. Yeah, man, it's going to be good as soon as they let me up out that joint. You know what I mean? For sure, I fumbled the ball as soon as they let me out. Oh, I got it. I done fumbled the ball 3 times in a row because I mentally wasn't prepared. I did not prepare myself. The family, the wife, the kids, the picket fence, everything. Whole family got my back. How you fumble the ball? Because you didn't prepare yourself to be free. The things that people needed, the housing, the love, the money, everything I had that as soon as they let me out them gates. These cats is coming out here, like the brother said, he even had nowhere to sleep. I got many places I can go to. But at the same time, I didn't work on myself, and that's what RCA is really about. Because we mentoring each other, and in order for you can have all the tools you need. But if you do not do the work on yourself and have that legitimate conversation, you're not going to make it. And you're going to pull down the people you say you love the most. You know, right now we're doing a mentorship program with the kids. It's called my advice as far as on attitudes, behavior. And it's like if you got an attitude about some behavior, and your attitude should be in line. If you value something, your attitude and behavior should be in line with it. And these are things that these kids don't understand. They don't value nothing. So we try to get them to talk to them in a way that they can understand where we're coming from. Now, I'm not talking at you, I'm talking to you. You know, and this is the thing that we got going on as far as RCA. We got the mentorship program inside the prison. We're talking to the kids out in the streets. We're dealing with the county jails, and we're talking to each other. Because every week is a trying day. Every moment is trying. You know what I mean? So it's like we just wanted to be able to share our stories with you guys and let you know that we understand that the struggle is real. You know what I mean? And if you don't put no progress towards where you're trying to go, and a lot of us don't know where we go. I never budget. Like the brother said, I'll take his financial literacy class. I ain't never had a budget in my budget. What? I've been in the game my whole life. I'm going to go get some money in a minute. It ain't nothing but a thing. But now I'm a working man. I got to figure out how this money works. I'm 57 years old. I'm 57 years old and just figuring out how money works. So you never stop learning. That's the key about us understanding as growing individuals. We have to continue to understand that life is progress. We have to continue to learn. This is because everything stays changing and evolving. So if you don't evolve with it, then therefore understand you're going to be stuck in the past. That's why everybody got a story about what happened back in the days. Man, we talking about today. You know, it's like your story today rewrites your story. Like it says, reclaiming our lives, reclaiming our stories. They got a whole bunch of stories to tell about us when they look in the books. Yeah, Marcus Sanders, DA7028. Oh, he got another number. Oh, J93770. You know, so it's like, that's not my story. I'm reclaiming my story about how I'm going to do my life and how I'm going to make a change for the ones behind me. And that's the kids and grandkids. I'm trying to give them all the information I got. But like my grandfather tell you, I'm gonna give you all the game I got. If you don't use it, it ain't my fault. You know what I mean? And that's what we gotta get back to as parenting. Give them the information, stick to it. Hold them accountable for what they're supposed to be doing. I'm not your friend. We gotta be them type of parents, because they ain't gonna make it. These kids ain't gonna make it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, man, and it may be hard. You may think it's hey man, ours gave it to you like you're supposed to have it. That's why we're still here today. You know what I mean? They say tough love. It's really not tough love. This is what the world got for you. The world got this for you. They got this for you. If you don't take heed to what we're talking about, hey man, take my advice or be a sacrifice. You know what I mean? That's how the game go. You know what I mean? But RCA is continuous movement. We just trying to let people that see us in these magazines and be like, oh man, I see Marcus, I see Ann and them in the magazine. Oh, that means that they can change. There's something else out there for us to do out there in the world. You know what I mean? That's the thing about the power of Tapped In magazine. Even from Chop Chop out there, and he walked the temple. You know what I mean? The garden, the Zen garden. You know, we everywhere, man. And it's like, it allows us to have different points of view about where we expanded RCA to go. We everywhere like air. You know what I mean? We everywhere. You know what I mean? Just that, man, continue to support us and let us do the work that we do. You know what I mean? And it's more to come. But I want to bring up my childhood friends since I was about 12, 13. You know what I mean? Ramon Day. Y'all welcome Ramon Day.
Y'all probably could pack up and go, because there's nothing that I could do to just top them two speakers. That's a lot of pressure right now, you know? That's a lot of pressure right now. So, you know, pressure is something that we are used to, considering the situations that we've been in, right? There's a lot of pressure built up in there. And them boxes, as Marcus called them. But yeah, man, let's just give them, the first two speakers, a round of applause, because that was amazing. Okay, now I'm gonna try to get to it too, right? I'm gonna do my little two-step. So first of all, let's thank Jennifer for having us. Let's thank the Sacramento Library for inviting us to have this collab with RCA, because we are returning citizens and we out here. And they got this little saying people be saying now, boots on the ground. Boots is on the ground. I don't know what it means, so I hope I didn't say it out of whatever the text is supposed to be taken. But boots is on the ground. And this group, man, is truly amazing. How I even came in contact with this whole RCA deal was through our CEO, amazing individual itself, Mr. Ricky Gaines. I've been knowing Ricky for a long time. Me and him both grew up in Pittsburgh, great youngster. It's amazing, right? When, like me, myself, I didn't do no long stretch. I was on that layaway plan, right? I came and gave him a couple, got back on it, gave him a couple more, then got back on it, you know what I'm saying, then gave him a couple more. But Rick, the thing that really made me lock into Rick was he was amazing to me because he wasn't bitter. This brother wasn't bitter, man. He was smiling every day. Every time you see him, he's smiling. You know, like I say, I did a layaway, right? And I was mad as hell about that. So I don't know how he came up under there. I mean, mentally we do be scathed, right? But he came out unscathed, and his attitude and his commitment towards what we're doing with this organization, the one thing I sensed was how sincere he was about it. The other thing that locked me in is this, is something that's needed. When people are returning home, systemically impacted people are returning home, ain't a lot of options. And we ain't got a lot of options, so we got to take the half little pieces of options we got and make them work the best we can. Pressure. pressure. You know, me myself, like I'm saying, just to share a couple things with you in this layaway plan that I was on, right? The first time I came home, man, I had a parole officer. The man still tortured me mentally every now and then, just thinking about it. His name was Mike Mermerstein. I'd never forget that name because he was an evil man. Because he was in charge of my freedom. And he didn't value it like I did. His thing was for any little thing, he was going to try to lock me up, and that's what he did. So, you know, again, being systemically impacted. So, it was a known fact that when I came home, my mama specifically let him know that she was a registered pistol carrier. So, the whole law was, long as it's out his way and it's in a lock, you're fine. Well, guess what? Somebody lying, or I just didn't know the law. Because five months later, he gave me a violation for that. Not in the possession, I didn't have it, in her room, locked in a box. But now I got to go back in the box for my mama having a pistol. Systemically impacted, right? And so when we say system impacted, that's a very broad definition because so many things lie within the system that you can be impacted by. Like that rule. Yeah, you could come home, but then lock me back up. Like, very hard pill to swallow. I was getting on my feet and just started getting a job. Because when you system impacted, it ain't a lot of, the pickings are thin as far as what you're going to do. And the other thing is, most of the people that hire you when you systemically impacted, they kind of know. So they'll handle you different than they handle somebody else because they could just tell you, oh, well, I just call you PO, get you violated. You know, stuff like that. That make it harder when you trying to beat recidivism. You know, another way of just being impacted from the system. But what happens is, like, and what I notice, like everybody up in here, we fight, man. We resilient. Like, we ain't taking no, and we gonna set a pace to make sure that we be successful from all angles. You know, my man Ant, he teach financial literacy. This is Minister right here. This is Minister Ted right here. He gonna give us all our spiritual. And my man Marcus, he a round hat all the way around. And thank you, Miss Wonderful, for being wonderful. And then we got Denise, she's our videographer. So we got a great little camp of people who chip in on a lot of things. My man Chop, my favorite gardener, man. That's my favorite gardener right there, because you know they finna starve us in a minute. So y'all might want to get real close to Chop so he can teach you how to grow some of them carrots and cucumbers, you know. Yeah, because we gonna be hungry and we gonna have to live off the earth. But let me stay focused, because I will go all the way around the corner and then come back. We hear about Tapped In Magazine, man, and the reason we hear about Tapped In Magazine is because Jennifer extended us her hand to give us this exhibition. And the reason this magazine is so important is because the stories in here are honest. And these stories come from individuals who have been incarcerated. So, I mean, you know, the other thing is, we're an organization, right, that, like Anthony stated earlier, we do a lot from our own pockets. And so, you know, on my way up here, I seen a little brother with the candy box. You know, when the kids play football and sports, and they set them in front of the store, right? And then they got the candy. And then the candy, right, is giving you something for your currency. And that's why, well, where my book, hold on. And that's what we trying to do. We trying to exchange something for your currency because we need the support. You understand? So with Tapped In Magazine, you're going to be supporting us. And we're going to be giving you something. And trust me, it's a lot in here you can grow from. Because it's amazing stories in here and some amazing individuals. And an amazing individual put this book together. You know, I just say this, man. Rick just made me a believer, man. And it's hard for me to believe because people be full of shit. I'm just going to tell you like that. Sorry for the lack of language, but this is just what it is. But Rick, man, the man, he gave us a, excuse me, he done delivered a fashion show to us. We did some other fundraising stuff, and he kept talking about, yeah, man, I'm gonna have a magazine. I knew he was already an established publisher and he had wrote some books though, but when he said magazine, like, you know what I'm saying, sometimes we be short-sighted, we can't see around the fence. I know about Sports Illustrated, I know about Ebony, I know about Jack. You know what I'm saying? But he said tapped in. I was like, well, tapped in, well, tapped in, tapped in. Tapped in is tapped in. You understand? Tapped in is tapped in, man. And this is because a man follows his dreams. That's good company to have. You know? That's real good company to have because when you see somebody put their thoughts into action and you see the end result and they standing right next to you, that's confirmation. That means that you could do it too. And if you can't write a book, well, something that you wanted to do is possible. That's what Ricky Gaines do for all of us. And like I say, this company has been great, man. This company has been great. Just to see things happen the way they happen, man, has been amazing. I'm really glad that I got part of this organization because it's been helpful. And then, like I said, when I came home, man, I did time in the feds, right? This last job I did. And it seemed like each year, well, each time or whatever, I don't want nobody thinking like I'm a career criminal, right? Like, I did have to make some other choices. But, hold on. Thank you, man. Right, thank you. Yeah, so when I mean, each time you went to prison, there I go, it seemed like we had less and less and less they was offering. When I came home this time, they ain't had nothing. They gave me some bus passes. I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, man, I need some shoes. I need a clothing chrono. And whatever else y'all got. And he looked at me and he gave me the bus tickets and said, this is what we got. But they also allowed me to go take behavior classes. I didn't have a behavior problem. I had a lack of resource problem when I came home. So the stuff that they actually offer don't benefit you. Read Tapped In. It will. It'll put you on the right track. Yeah, because if you tap in, you're going to find out they got resources up in here. As well as us being resourceful. If you can't tap in, just hit us online, rca.org. You know, if we actually can't offer it to you ourselves, we can point you in the right direction. You know, we got some kind of input. But yeah, just getting back to what the feds had to offer and making me stay in a class all day that did not benefit me when I could have been working was really a waste of my time. But then I had to take the class because then if I don't take the class, now I'm again being systemly impacted because I could go back to the system. You know, so, you know, coming home without no resources except to have a house, which like hearing Ted talk, I don't even know how I would have handled that situation because the one thing I did have was I had a home, so I had shelter. So shelter was one thing that I didn't have to worry about. But I had to worry about how to try to keep that shelter. And like I say, when they give you certain jobs, it's only gonna be certain jobs you get when you come home. I don't care what your master is, because I'm a sterile tech, and I've been doing sterile processing going over 25 years right now, except for my occasional breaks, you know. Other than that, I've been doing this 25 years, but when I came home after during the time, what happens is this: because you have a felony, again, systemly impacted again, like the brother said, we should have already been past that. Like, I'm done now. Why y'all keep making me backtrack with this felony? Why y'all holding this felony against me? You know, so it took my resilience to get back into my profession, because all they kept saying was, we can't hire you because you got a felony. We can't hire you because you got a felony. And I still kept knocking on doors because I was not accepting, no, like, I needed that more than I needed any other job, just because I wanted my life back. You know what I'm saying? Because like when you get incarcerated, you know, they taking something out you. So I was in a battle just to get my life back. I needed that, and I would not stop. I mean, I went to heck of interviews. It took me about, I want to say about a year before I actually was able to sit at any table across and just have an interview. And trust me, I'm a professional when I get in that room, and I know how to divert too. So, you know, like when you have your interviews and stuff, sometimes don't let them speak first, especially if you're going to something and you see like they might have a Denver Bronco helmet on the thing. First thing you say is, oh, I already know how this is gonna go. We can't do this interview. But what are you talking about, Mr. Day? Well, I'm a Raider fan and you a Broncos fan, so this ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? But I'm breaking up the stress while I'm getting ready to have this interview. I'm lightening the mood up, right? Because if he is a stiff ass, he ain't now. You know, because I just bust him with a couple jokes to lighten the mood up. And so it took me, man, I'm telling you, I probably did about, well, I probably filled out about 50 applications and may have heard from 10. And then I got in a room with 5. See how the list just went all the way down? See how it narrowed down because I'm systematically impacted? You understand what I'm saying? And so when I do get in the room, look, Kaiser, Shutter, even the small ones, like all the big ones. I went out here to, I was even going to Frisco looking for a job at their general hospital. Nobody would take me. And then finally I got this interview at the VA. And now one thing about VA is they drag their feet. Like it took another 6 months that I'd never heard from them. And so what I did, because I was just so tired of working at Home Depot, right? That I called them. And then come to find out, they talking about they been called me, yada, 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 anyway. So when I get in there, she's saying, well, you didn't tell us you had a felony. I was like, oh, I'll make sure I mark that box first. That way we don't have no misunderstandings about nothing, because my time valuable too, right? She said, all right, well, you know, Mr. Day, I don't really think that because of your felony we may. I say, hold on, check this out, just 1 minute though. What's your name? Her name was Leah, right? And I said, you know what, Leah, either you could let me in or someone else is gonna let me in, but I would love for you to let me in because I just wanna put you in my book, Leah, when I write it. I want you to have a page all to yourself about how you assist me in helping me get my life back. You know? And she kind of giggled, right? Got her. Got her. Once I seen that smile, I'm like, okay, I'm in here. And I just told her, like, you know, yeah, because my sister, I gave her an extra little history. Yeah, my sister's an author, yada, yada, yada. And so, yes, I'll have this book done in no time, but I would love to have you in it. well, Mr. Dave, we're gonna make this exception. I thought you would, and I appreciate that you're doing so. You know what I mean? And so I got back up in there, but it was only through me being a resilient individual, you know what I mean, and not accepting no from these people. Because what happens is they got the rules set in place, but the rules are set in place as a deterrent anyway. So if you just go and you just accept it, then that's what you gonna get. Sometimes you gotta fight these people. Sometimes you got to question authority. Because can't nobody be in better authority of me than me. You know what I'm saying? For real. And so eventually I'm back up here at the VA, and life is groovy. Life is groovy again. And life is getting even better because look at the company I'm around now. Yeah. The thing about RCA that really make it super authentic is ain't nobody just writing a book from their imagination. They writing their books from their personal experiences. Ain't nobody going to look at no YouTube. Ain't nobody catching a good series and piggyback off that. Whatever story you get from these people, sorry, but I gotta hit y'all again and tapped in though. When they give you something tapped in, that mean they was tapped in. That mean that somebody was in one of them boxes, sweating, waiting for their turn, and hoping didn't some idiot make them blow it. Because the most important thing when you in the box is getting out of it. And that's what we do with Tapped In, man. We giving people freedom to express their experiences. The beautiful thing about that is somebody experienced something just like you did, so it make them more relatable. And when they're more relatable, you tend to open up to them and share with them. You know, because sometimes, like, especially like even right now for me, with all this good work we doing and all that, and because I'm with all these people and we are felons or ex-felons, like I'm more comfortable with them. Like I still ain't got to the point to where that's everybody business. Sometimes like when we get these things, I still be catching myself like I don't want to, they don't need to know that. You know what I'm saying? I need to keep some of my business, but I can have my business with them and ain't nobody looking at me sideways. Cause if we ain't got nothing else in common, we was in that box. And not only that, when you say you systemly impacted, think about the people that come along with you. Because, you know, you be in a cell with the, yeah, man, I can't wait to get out of here. Yeah, I'm shitting on everybody. Hold on. Your absence been shitting on your family. Because you are socially, systemly impacted. One of my boys told me, he's like, man, when you gonna quit being selfish? And I was like, what kind of trick question is that? He said, yeah, Gates, you selfish. I said, please explain. And this is what he said. So, like you leave me, and this is one of my real partners, one of the only guy that came to visit me in prison and came to visit me religiously though. So I could really call him a friend. But he was like, and he might have said that because he was being selfish right then too, because he was tired of coming to see my ass in prison. So he says, yeah, you selfish because you don't think about the position that you put your loved ones in. You know, you're not thinking about the absence of your kids not having their father, because I'm a hands-on dad, love my kids. I take great pride in being a father and knowing that I got it right, except for those couple absentees, you know. But, and when he broke it down to me like that, it made a lot of sense. Was I just thinking about me, even though I'm thinking I'm padding everybody's pockets, or was I just being half-assed lazy? Like, what was I doing? But, you know, sometimes you got to bump your head 2 or 3 times before you realize it hurt. And I was on that third one and I found out it hurt, so I didn't want to be selfish no more. And I wanted to apply myself the correct way. I got a grandbaby. I'm a dad, a father, a husband.
And you're free?
It's good out here.
And I'm free. Hella free this time, because the reason I know I'm so free is because, I still get scared when police roll behind me. But, I know I ain't doing nothing illegal no more. So, like, my swag is different, even though I did have a mean swag when I was a D-boy, right? But the swag is extra vicious now because ain't no penitentiary chances coming with this. You know what I'm saying? It's lean. Yeah. So, anyway, I just got to say it one more time because we trying to sell this, right? Tap in with Tapped In Magazine. And I want to appreciate everybody for coming out. And then we promoting this magazine. Like, again, thank you, Jennifer, for having this, exhibit?
You said?
That, yeah. Thanks for having us. Thanks for inviting RCA. This means the world to us. We did our show as well out here. We'd like to thank everybody who showed up. Thank y'all for listening to my rhetoric. Sorry that my throat got dry on y'all. I had to get some water. And yeah, man, we got more things coming up. Be on the lookout for us. Support whatever way you can. We appreciate you. And again, just thanks for listening to the testimonies, man, because these real live testimonies. This ain't nothing we just imagine. Like, it really happened in real life. Like, I really seen somebody get stabbed when I was only in San Quentin for 2 hours. And it definitely affected my mental. And so when we have our talks on Sunday, these guys help rinse my soul of all that foolishness. And trust me, it's way different when somebody gets stabbed right in front of you. And ain't nobody got no weapons except the stabber. You know, what would you want to go back to that for? The only ones got guns is the police. It ain't fair. So I'm gonna stay out here on this ground where at least it's fair. Thank y'all.
All right, Ramon Day, I hear you. Yeah, man, it's like, that's the beauty of RCA, man. It's like we have so many different stories and we personally know each other, so we know the growth that each one of us that took place. You know what I mean? And it's like, you the reason I came to RCA. I've been knowing you since I was a kid. You know, even though from different sides of the town, you move the way you move. And I was like, okay, they holding something over there. There's a secret going on over there. I seen Ramon and Ricky together. I say, something going on over there. Because he ain't just gonna be just sitting with anybody. And I know both of these cats, they smooth with it. So I found myself in the seat with RCA. Next thing you know, I'm like, I'm no longer sitting on the couch. My wife was like, oh, you got a little pep in your step. Yeah, I've been sitting on the couch for 18 years. There was no reason for me to jump up. You know what I mean? I got grandkids, I got cousins, I got aunties that I'm trying to navigate on. I'm trying to be the pillar that I need to be, that I was taught to be. You know what I mean? And it weighs on you though. You know what I mean? So it's like, but the beauty of it is that my sisters and siblings knew I'd never been dependable. Oh, he going to the penitentiary. It's just about how much time he going with. It's guaranteed that he going.
Right.
He gonna ball till, when they say ball till you fall, I'm gonna ball. I may get old 6-month run, old 90-day run, and they got me. They used to that. Now I can get a phone call from my sister and be like, bro, or my daddy and be like, man, we're going to Cuba next year. Because they know I'm gonna be here. You know what I mean? They know I'm gonna be here. That tells you that I didn't lay the foundation where they'll say we can depend on him. You know what I mean? The grandkids can say, Papa, we got a game. And they know Papa gonna be there in the stands, the biggest fan. You know what I mean? So it's like, these are the things that RCA and just having a conversation with yourself allows you to understand what's important. When you get those things, you like, man, They're beautiful. You know, and the beauty thing about it is like something like everybody want us to have, want a house, want the car, want this, want that. But did they tell you how to keep it? That's where your finances come into play. You know, I'm 57 years old, just understanding finances is the key to maintain all these things you say you want. And if you don't have an understanding of what finances is, you're going to lose it all. You know what I mean? It's like everything you can imagine. I done done it. I didn't got it. The car. I didn't lost the house and got another one. You know what I mean? And it's like you have to have these information. And it's like I can only talk to somebody that's been down this road with me. You know what I mean? And the RCA has allowed us to be to have that information that we need. And like the brother said, we stay tapped in with each other because I know you. I know what it look like. I know what it is going on with you. We can have these serious conversations. And that's the beauty about RCA. And you could be able to support us with subscriptions, just letting somebody know what's going on in RCA. It ain't, you know, I mean, the funds is always good. This will help the move because we nonprofit organization and we ain't getting no grants from nobody. It's word of mouth. We spending our own money. You know what I mean? Making these exhibits be what it is. We had bigger ones, we have small ones, but the whole thing is about getting information out there to the people. And that's the key. And I don't want to waste any more time. We only got probably about 15 more minutes, but we turned this into information. Anybody got any questions? You can ask if you got a question, let me know. If not, then just go around and be able to see what they got going on for the exhibit. Thanks, Sacramento Library. Appreciate you, Jennifer, wherever you are. And whatever, you know, you get a chance to be able to share the information and the message with the people, we appreciate it. And everybody in here is an RCA member. That's Denise that's running the equipment. That's Chop right there. That's Miss Wonderful in the back. There's Anthony Partee and the wife, Teddy, and then there's Ramon Day. And I am Marcus Sanders. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And thank you.